Scriabin's album leaf Opus 45 No. 1 captures the essence of his unique style very concisely. I'm going to analyze the entire piece starting with the structure, and at the end I'll play it and sing it with the analyzed score. This piece is from his middle era, and the name album leaf means a piece to be studied. This video feels like one of my more important analysis videos because this piece captures Scriabin's greatness so succinctly. I'm Jay Beard and I make videos about Scriabin and music theory. Check out my website to see the lessons and courses that I offer, like the Composing Like Scriabin course, and please like, comment, and subscribe. This piece uses an ABA structure, yet the odd number section lengths make the structure a bit unconventional. I'll point out the odd section lengths as we go through it, and for now I'll just point out that there's 27 measures total, which puts our climactic B section almost exactly in the middle of the piece. Here's the opening 4-bar phrase that establishes the A motif. So the first measure establishes the tonic with the second beat essentially like a passing chord. Then the second measure brings us to the tritone of the scale chord, which I just made a whole video about. It's common for composers to build a half diminished seventh chord on the tritone scale degree, which functions as a predominant, and soon I'll show how we can think of it like a 5/5 chord without the bass. In the third measure we get a major 7 flat 5 chord moving to a diminished major 7. Big shout out to PitchKit that's helping us analyze those two chords. It'll be released in just a month or two, and if you're watching this in the future, definitely go to the App Store and download PitchKit for free now. This major 7 flat 5 chord is a classic Scriabin jazzy sounding chord, which he often reharmonizes later with a lower bass pitch. At the end, when this motif is presented, it does have B flat in the bass, which shows that this measure is supposed to have a dominant function and that he might be experimenting with removing the bass. So I'm going to play this opening again with F in the bass for the second measure and B flat in the bass for the third measure. Moving on, we start on the relative minor 6 chord, we have another passing beat 2, then we abruptly leap to the 5/5 chord with extensions sharp 11 and 13. This is a signature chord that Scriabin uses in his late era, set 5/28. This chord is a subset of both mystic and octatonic, and if we had included a G it would have been the mystic chord. If we include all the pitches in this section, we get the full acoustic scale. You can see more videos of me talking about how the acoustic scale is the precursor to the mystic chord in his middle era in this video linked above. The use of this chord like this shows further evidence that the mystic chord evolved from the tonal context of a dominant 5/5 chord with extensions. So after a 5 chord resolution we start another A motif, but this time Scriabin wants to subvert expectations and move around with a sequence. This time the tritone of the scale chord settles into a 5-note whole tone chord. Then we shift down to a French 6 that resolves to half diminished 7. Then down again to the 4/16 chord we had before that resolves to G half diminished 7. So what's really going on a large scale is just half diminished 7th chords moving down chromatically each measure. And while that's happening, the top note is moving up a semitone each measure. The harmony works here so cleverly because Scriabin knows which chords are neighboring this half diminished 7th chord. So we were on the tritone of the scale, moved down twice chromatically, which brings us to G, which is basically our 3 chord. Then we move up a 4th to the 6 chord with our melody note going a step higher too. And this chord uses extensions flat 9 and 13, set 5/16. I've mentioned in previous videos that he ends up using this chord in his late era as a standard octatonic chord. We were used to 4-bar phrases, and now adding this as the 5th measure in the phrase really puts us on the edge of our seat with tension. Now he resolves this tension by hitting the climax out of the park, starting with a borrowed 2 half diminished 7th chord and a new B melody that moves down predictably by step. In the second measure, we get the same flat 9/13 chord. And it all sounds predictable because we're moving around the circle of fifths here. In measure 12, we were on the 3 chord, then the 6 chord, then 2, 5, and then we'll go back to 1. The B motif repeats again, down a step, slightly altered, and this time instead of the harmony going up a fourth, it goes to the 5 of 5 chord, but the same flat 9/13 chord. The next section brings the energy down, with the melody exploring 10 different pitches, with the bass staying on the 5 dominant pedal. He uses this same segment in the -1 sequence from before, and this time he explores it further, with the first segment of the melody moving down chromatically. Do, do, le, le. Then we're back to the A section, playing the main motif very simply. Now when C flat's on top, this gives us the flat 9/13 chord I keep mentioning, and then we resolve back to the tonic, and we leap up to the flat 6, keeping us in suspense. And it eventually resolves back to 5. Scriabin captures a lot of elegance and beauty in such a short, simple piece. The progressions where he presents motifs are essentially 2-5-1 progressions, and the sequences mostly involve moving down by a half step or moving up a fourth around the circle of fifths. What's special about the piece is the subtle shifts in small jazzy chords, and how the melody is able to explore so much territory within the limited framework of just 2 motifs. Now I'm going to play the whole piece with the analyzed score, singing the second half. I played this piece for my local piano group, and they asked if it was related to Disney. Perhaps me singing added to that perception. I go into a lot more depth about Scriabin's structure, harmony, and sequences in my Composing Like Scriabin course, the first part of which is free. If you found this video insightful, please share it with a fellow Scriabinoid. Join the Discord discussions, and please like, comment, and subscribe.